From far across the vast Pacific, the waves roll in today as they have for centuries, beating against the rugged coast of British Columbia. Almost 200 years ago, ships roamed these seas, searching for a waterway through North America. Captains Perez and Cook sailed up this coast, and Cook landed to refit his ship. Captain George Vancouver followed and charted the coast so well that even now cartographers call his work the Great Chart, and the island which he traced on the first map we now call Vancouver Island. Today, the most modern ferry service in the world brings thousands of 20th century explorers from the mainland of Canada and the United States to Vancouver Island. They come throughout the year. For the winter is mild and gentle. The snow doesn't linger here. In fact, if you want to find the snow, you have to go to the mountains. Or you can sail, except we call it frostbiting. This is February in Victoria. In the warm summer evenings, the serenity of Butchot's Gardens. In the golden days of autumn, a quietness and peace replace the bustle of summer. Winter and summer, spring and fall, fish abound in the streams, the lakes, the inlets and bays. Close by the inner harbor, in front of the Parliament buildings, visitors take the tally-ho for a leisurely ride around Victoria, capital of British Columbia, and one of the older cities of the West Coast. In Thunderbird Park, totem poles record the legends of our native Indians. The unique charm of Victoria can be found in Trounce Alley. All the year round, pleasure craft gather in Victoria's inner harbor. At the end of May, yachts from the Pacific Northwest converge on the city to take part in the annual Swiftshore Classic. In the gray of early dawn, the ships silently slip out to Broachy Ledge. Like jockeys, with their horses before a race, the crews ease their ships out to the starting line. As the gun booms out and the smoke drifts across the sea, the first craft move off with canvas spread to seek the breeze. Past Albert Head, Race Rocks, Beachy Head, northwesterly up the Straits of Juan de Fuca. At the Swiftshore banks, the yachts turn for the run back to Victoria. The Swiftshore is one of the top 10 racing events in the world and one of the toughest tests of seamanship, 136 miles up and down the Straits of Juan de Fuca. Under billowing spinnakers, a winner skims in past Ogden Point. North from Victoria, the Malahat Drive follows the east coast, looking out over Saanich Inlet. At Nanaimo, the Bastion, the old Hudson Bay fort, still stands within sound and sight of the main street and of the pleasure boats offshore. Comfortable lodges and motels are located along the sunny, sandy beaches of the east coast of Vancouver Island. And at Parksville, the sand stretches out for a mile at low tide. West from Parksville, through provincial parks, Englishman's River Falls, Little Qualicum Falls, Macmillan Park Cathedral Grove. These great firs and cedars were growing when Captain Cook first landed on the island. 10 miles from Alberni, Great Central Lake is the start of another kind of holiday. Mount Septimus and the big interior range challenge the hardy. "3,000 feet above sea level, the smell of coffee and frying bacon mingle with the perfume of the forest. But these hikers seek something more, one of the most spectacular sights on the island. And suddenly, there it is, Della Falls, one of the highest waterfalls in the world, 10 times the height of Niagara, almost 1,600 feet, with only one break in its fall. across these mountains lies the forbidden plateau. You ride out in the fresh mountain air with its fragrance of heather and pine. In the warm summer afternoon, each rider finds a new world as his horse ambles peacefully by alpine pools and across mountain meadows. You feel as though you're on top of the world, and suddenly you are, almost, for you're on the skyline of Crookshank Canyon, and the land falls away before you. Alpine flowers against the gray rocks, phlox, Indian paintbrush, bell heather, penstemon, alpine spirea. Indian legend calls this plateau forbidden, but you will find nothing forbidding here in the alpine meadows and mountain lakes. Vancouver Island's west coast, the graveyard of the Pacific, with 40 wrecks in 40 miles. This short, rugged stretch of coast offered no protection from wind and waves sweeping across the Pacific. Today, navigational aids and patrol vessels safeguard the ships. The Pacific can be gentle, too. "10 miles of hard-packed white sand on which the surf rolls endlessly. That's beautiful and famous Long Beach and the home of the razor clam. Deep in the sand, the clams are hiding, and if you're slow, they burrow faster than you can dig. The waves bring treasures too. Glass balls and bamboo poles from the Japanese fishing fleets across the ocean. 20 miles further south at Bamfield, you've left the long expanse of sand for jagged coast and tiny coves. As the tides come in over the sun-drenched rocks and sand, the water is warmed. There's plenty of space to play and a vast emptiness of sky and sea. You can have your own private cove and your own private barbecue. All Souk Day, the loggers' sports day, is famous for its food. Fresh-caught salmon, barbecued slowly over alder coals, sweet and juicy with the aroma of wood smoke. It's a great day for the kids. Plenty to eat, plenty to see, plenty to do. All Souk Day is to loggers of the Pacific Northwest what the Calgary Stampede is to cowboys. In one event after another, they compete with the tools and skills of their everyday work. Tree cutting has a procedure of its own. First, a notch. Then, fit the springboard in the notch. Stand on the springboard and chop. Though movable steel spars have almost replaced the high rigger in the woods, he's still in his element at the logger's sports day. It takes another kind of skill, not limited to loggers, to hold your own in this event. Some don't care about winning. The pie is prize enough. Saw through this log in less than a minute? To a logger with a power saw, it's easy. 10,000 people from the Pacific Northwest come to All Souk Day, an hour's drive from Victoria, to watch and take part. It takes a lot of practice to hit a target with an axe. No two axes are exactly alike, and each logger has his favorite. In stagged pants and lightweight cork boots, the burlers dance on the spinning log, desperately struggling to keep their balance and throw each other off. They spin the log and bounce it, splash and dash at each other, until one loses his footing and the battle is over. Here at Campbell River, you're in the country of the fighting Pacific salmon. Spring, coho, chum, pink, and sockeye. You can catch spring and coho almost any month of the year. The sea breezes are cool on the hottest day as you fish along this coast. A spring salmon, if it weighs 8 pounds or less, is called a jack spring. But if it weighs in at more than 30 pounds, and very often it does, it's a tai. At the famous Tai pool, the sportsmen row out quietly to seek and find this great fish. This fisherman has a daily double, and both over 40 pounds. West from Campbell River, by bus through Strathcona Park, you can cross the island to Gold River. Rio del Oro, the Spaniards called it when they were here in 1790. The black bears were here then too, and many still remain in the wilderness. bus ride ends at Gold River, and there you board the Uchuk 3 for a cruise to historic Nootka Sound. Both Spanish and British claimed this land almost 200 years ago. In 1792, Captains Vancouver and Quadra settled the rival claims, and Spain withdrew. The Nootka Indians here at Friendly Cove, under their great chief, McQuina, paddled out to the windjammers to trade the skins of the sea otter for muskets and cloth. Today, by powerboat, they run out to the Uchuk 3 with baskets and ornaments. Using natural dyes and bark and roots, they weave their creations in traditional native designs. The Nootka Indians have lived in Friendly Cove for centuries and taken their living from the sea. They saw the Spanish explorers and helped Captain Cook refit his ship, and this generation watched as the stone monument honoring that great sailor was erected. The ghosts of the Spanish explorers, the British naval officers, and the Boston traders would see little difference from when they saw it last. In fact, it's quieter now, with fewer boats coming up the Sound. Northward, across Vancouver Island, totem poles at Alert Bay have stood for a century or more and watched as steam replaced sail and man took to the air in the great birds. The stories they tell in their carved figures were old when the white man came and go far back in the memory of the race. The totems stand as silent guardians of the past, looking across the sea. For the sea and the island, past, present, and future, are as one.